In this module, we are going to be going over descriptors, styles, and tones for ChatGPT. Now, this is the last section within the beginner's prompting, and I think it's a good one to end on because it can show you that just a few words added onto your prompt can completely change the output and the way that your response is given to you. First, let's dive into my whiteboard, and I'll show you what are descriptors, and then I'm going to show you what is the differences between style and tone. So here we are, and right off the bat, we're going to start with styles. Now, I put fun in parentheses above styles because when you're thinking of styles, you can think of it in more of a fun way. Styles are people, voices, and fun outputs. Some examples I gave down here are Samuel L. Jackson, pirate, and limericks. Now, this will make more sense once I actually dive into the ChatGPT side of this module. So I have a person, Samuel L. Jackson. If you're not aware, he is a great actor, and he has a very distinct voice. That's going to come into play a little bit later, but if you've ever heard Samuel L. Jackson talk, you'll know what his voice sounds like. He's in commercials, he's in a ton of movies, and if you haven't heard him talk, I recommend you go listen to him so that you can kind of get an idea of how this is going to work when we're doing our ChatGPT outputs and how the response changes when we use the style of Samuel L. Jackson. Pirate, that's just a general example of a voice. You know, it's a very distinct voice. Everybody knows the pirate talk, so I'm going to show you a little bit about that. And then limericks. This is kind of a fun output that I'm also going to go over. So next, we also will dive into tones on ChatGPT, and tones are the way something is said. So do you want your text to be more professional, more sympathetic, more upbeat? Any of these adjectives or ways of writing that your text can be interpreted, you can manipulate ChatGPT in order to change existing text that you already have to be more of the way you want it, or you can create text in this format as well. And the three examples I gave down here were, again, professional, sympathetic, and upbeat. Now, there are hundreds of other tones for your writing that you can use, but these are three that I think I personally use a lot and that others would feel the same way about. Now, if I'm ever mentioning descriptors, just know that descriptors are the words that I'm using within styles and tones. So pirate would be a descriptor. Professional would also be another descriptor. So if I ever use the word descriptors, just know that those are the words that are changing my output. Now that you have a broad overview of styles and tones on the whiteboard, let's head over to ChatGPT so I can show you some real-time examples, and hopefully you can get an idea of how to use styles and tones within your own writing. So I'm on ChatGPT 3.5 right now, and my first prompt that I'm going to type out is write a window washing advertisement. I'm going to spell advertisement right, in the style of Samuel Jackson. So as you can see, I am adding this part right here in the style of Samuel Jackson. So this is my new style. If I were to write this without any style, I'll show you the result real quick. Let me just delete these brackets and copy the back half of the sentence before I delete it. So if I write out just this prompt, write a window washing advertisement, there's really no personality, as you will see. It does write a decent advertisement, but there's really no distinct style. Now, if you really want to manipulate the style, then I suggest you add one. So now if we paste in the style of Samuel L. Jackson and hit save and submit, you will see the differences within these two outputs. So as you can see, this is much more fun than the previous advertisement that it gave us. This one is pretty mundane and it seems overused, you know? And if we go over to this other prompt that we typed in the style of Samuel L. Jackson, you'll definitely be able to tell that there's just a lot more personality and a distinct style. And once again, if you haven't heard the voice of Samuel L. Jackson, I recommend you go take a listen and see how good of a job ChatGPT did at trying to display that in text. So you can quickly change the style of existing writing that you already have that you want to be a little bit more fun and interactive by pasting it into ChatGPT and saying, change this to be in the style of Samuel L. Jackson, for example. Or what you can do is create new copy and new text, just as I showed you in this example, with any well-known celebrity, person, or public figure. So let me show you another example using a character from a show called Peaky Blinders. Now, Peaky Blinders is a crime drama, takes place in 1919, and one of the characters in there, the fictional character created, is Thomas Shelby. Thomas Shelby is this mafia boss, gang leader person, and he talks very, very calm and collected. And if you've ever heard his voice, he has a very, very distinct voice. And I want to show you this example because Thomas Shelby is actually a fictional character, but ChatGPT can do those as well. And I'm just going to give a little bit more context up top by saying write a window washing advertisement in the style of Thomas Shelby from Peaky Blinders. Now, I've personally never watched Peaky Blinders, but I've seen clips of Thomas Shelby talking. And after doing this example once, I just wanted to show you guys because it's awesome how ChatGPT can completely rearrange this advertisement to be in the style of a fictional character. So now I'm going to save and submit. And it even gives the scene to be fitting of the vibe of that character or person that you are trying to replicate. So you can pause this and take a little read if you'd like. I'm going to slowly scroll down. And if you look up clips of Thomas Shelby talking and match his voice to what this window washing advertisement's saying, it's very, very cool how ChatGPT can actually relate those two so well. Using styles with ChatGPT can help you add a unique element to all of your creative writing and project needs. So those were fictional characters and real life characters, but what if we just wanted something general like a pirate, for example? You know, pirates have that distinct text and voice. You can't mistake it when a pirate is talking, whether that's on a show or whether you're reading text that was supposedly written by a pirate. Let me show you an example of what I'm talking about, because you can use general nouns like this and you can really get some cool results. So now we are writing a window washing advertisement in the style of a pirate. And I'm going to put a before pirate. Now I'm going to hit save and submit. And as you can see, it completely changes the way the text is written just by adding that one little style at the end of this. It says, "Avast ye landlubbers and scurvy dogs," okay? So it's done a very good job at talking like a pirate. So if you can think of any other personalities or people, nouns to use within ChatGPT, as long as they are pretty well known, ChatGPT can do a good job at trying to match that style. And if they're not well known, then you can create your own personality or system function, as I showed you in last module. Now I have a new chat opened up here within ChatGPT 3.5, and I want to show you the fun outputs that styles can provide. So if we have something like write a summary of Beauty and the Beast, what's going to happen is ChatGPT is going to give a summary of Beauty and the Beast in moderately formal and plain text. So when I send it off, what you'll notice is that it gives the information you need and it just does it in a very nice fashion. You know, it's formal, it gives you a good summary. But you can also mix your summaries up within ChatGPT. Let me show you an example. So if I hit this edit button right here up top, and instead of just saying write a summary of Beauty and the Beast, I can do in a series of limericks. So this is just one example of a fun output you could do, and you can really make it as unique as you want it. So now when I send it off, instead of that long summary, as you can see, it will write it in a series of limericks. Now reading the summary is a lot more fun. It says, "In a village, a maiden so sweet met a beast with fur rough and fleet. A curse had transformed this creature malformed into something she feared but would greet." So it rhymes. It's interactive. So styles, they are wonderful for enhancing your creative writing. And once again, I know I keep stressing this, but you don't have to use it only to create new stuff like I have been doing in ChatGPT. But if you have some text you would like to change the style of, what you can do is you can copy and paste that in. And what you can do after that is say, change this text to be in the style of, then whatever you want your style to be. Or in this case, I used in a series of limericks. So in a series of limericks, that would be my style in this case. Now let's focus on tones. So we've got styles down. That's for people, voices, and fun outputs. And I've showed you a few examples regarding some styles. Now there are so many different styles you can use out there. If you have any on your mind, I highly suggest you hop into ChatGPT real quick and you try a few out with some new text or some existing text just to see how ChatGPT operates when you use that style. But what if we want to change the tone in which something is said? For this first example I'm going to show you is I have an email that I typed out and I copied, and I want to send it to my boss to tell him that I won't be able to make it to work today because I'm not feeling well. But I am kind of nervous because I don't write the best professional messages, so I want ChatGPT to make this message more professional in order for me to feel confident that I can send it to my boss. So what I could start off with is make this email more professional. It's good if you state what you want it to make more professional. That way ChatGPT knows the proper formatting in which to make this in. So I'm saying make this email more professional. I'm not just saying make this more professional because that gives ChatGPT no context into what I want to be more professional. The more information you give, as explained in context and concision principles, the better your output will be. So now I can put a colon, and whenever you want to shift down in ChatGPT without sending off the message, hold shift. And what I'm going to do is hit enter while holding shift twice. Okay, now that I have my email copied to my clipboard, I can paste it in. And right now my email says, "Hey Carter, I am not really feeling that great today, so I won't make it to work. Sorry for the late notice. I can still work from home, so I will try to get some stuff done. Hope you understand." And that's my email that I have right now. But if I'm asking ChatGPT to make this more professional, watch how good of a job it does at doing so. So it formats it a lot better. Instead of saying, "Hey Carter, comma," it now says, "Dear Carter, comma." It enters down a few times and then gets into the body of the email. It says, "I hope this email finds you well. I regret to inform you that I am not feeling well today, and as a result, I will be unable to make it to work. I apologize for the late notice and any inconvenience that this may cause. However, I want to assure you that I am committed to fulfilling my responsibilities even from home. Therefore, I will make every effort to complete some tasks remotely. I appreciate your understanding in this matter." And then it even adds "sincerely," and then I can list my name right here, which is Drake. And I didn't have that in this message. And this message was short, it was kind of vague, and it wasn't well thought out. But ChatGPT changed the tone of this message to be more professional. And it doesn't only have to be more professional. It can make writing informal if you want it to too. So you could say, make this message less professional in order to make it more of a friendly message to whomever you're sending it to. So as you can see, ChatGPT does a really good job at making your unprofessional messages professional and changing the tone of the entire output. So now I'm going to show you some more examples of using tones within ChatGPT to create new content. So let's say I am writing a birthday card and I want this birthday card to be upbeat. What I can do is I can give ChatGPT some context into who the birthday's for, what age they're turning, and other important information like that. And now that I have this base information, write me a birthday card for an 11-year-old named Jeffrey. Make this birthday card in and I'm going to say upbeat tone. So now it knows to make this birthday card in a nice, happy, and fun upbeat tone. Okay, so when I send it off in ChatGPT 3.5, it gives a nice upbeat message, and you can even see that it adds some nice exclamation points in order to express how upbeat that is. So this was a pretty long birthday card. I can just say something like, make this shorter, because an 11-year-old really isn't going to want to read all that. What they'll probably want to do is just open the card and get some money. So this looks a lot better. Hip hip hooray, it's your special day, Jeffrey. So that's very upbeat. But what would happen if we changed this from upbeat to sad? Watch how the message completely changes just by changing one word within the tone of this message. So I'm going to hit save and submit, and we are going to get a very sad message here, which would not be very fun for an 11-year-old to read. Now I'm going to make this shorter so we don't have to spend all day reading that. And it says, "Dear Jeffrey, on your 11th birthday, I want you to know that I'm here for you, even in the midst of sadness. Life can be tough, and it's okay to feel down. Remember, you are loved and cherished. May this day be a turning point towards brighter days." So maybe Jeffrey is not having a good life right now, and he needs something to turn around. So this is kind of a condolences card rather than a happy birthday card for little Jeffrey. But this is great for writing any sort of letters, job applications, or anything that requires you to use a certain professional tone or a formal way of writing. You can really manipulate the way that your text is written by just changing the tone of it within ChatGPT. And if you want to, you can even add a style to this birthday card. So maybe we want to try to cheer Jeffrey up a little bit, and we want to give our condolences in the form and style of a pirate. So now we can just say something like, make this message into the style of a pirate. Okay, and now we can send this off. So now we will have a sad pirate combining a style with a tone. You can see that it will once again generate a long message. So I'll just say, make this shorter. And now we have a sad pirate talking to Jeffrey. On your 11th voyage round the sun, know I am here for ye, even in stormy seas. Life can be tough and it's alright to feel down. Remember ye be loved and cherished. May this day be a turning point to brighter shores. Fair winds, your pirate name. So you can really start combining these styles and tones together, and there are many styles and tones out there. I'm sure you already have some on your mind. Now I've just given you some examples in order to get your brain spinning on how you can use styles and tones in order to better your writing. You can use these two items in order to create new content, new writing, new text, whatever you need, or you can use it to make your existing text in a better style or tone. So usually what I like to do is I don't really like to create all of my content in ChatGPT. It's very useful for doing some things, but a lot of the time if I have something personal that I'm doing, what I'll do is I'll write it out in a Google Doc or something like that, and then I'll copy and paste it into ChatGPT in order to check the grammar, check the spelling, check all of those things, and then make a refined style of the message that I was trying to present. So you've learned a lot so far, but the fun is just beginning. I will see you in the next section where we go over hyperparameters.